Okay, so have you ever found yourself really wrestling with a math problem where the concepts just feel abstract, maybe a bit out of
Oh,
reach?
absolutely. Or, maybe you're just trying to get a handle on some new complex topic and wish someone could just boil it down for you.
Exactly. Well, you are definitely in the right place today. We're doing a deep dive into something pretty fascinating where robots meet math class.
hmm And this isn't science fiction, right? This is happening in actual classrooms right now.
Yeah, really happening. Our mission today is to sort of unpack all the research. We've gone through a really thorough study. It's called a systematic literature review.
Think of it like a super librarian compiling all the best, most important research on one specific topic. In this case, how educational robots, or ERs, let's call them that, are changing math learning.
So, whether you're a student yourself, maybe an educator looking for new ideas, or honestly just curious about innovation, this is your shortcut. We're cutting through the jargon to give you the clear picture on ERs in math.
We'll get straight to what the research says.
Okay, so let's start with the why. Math can be tough. I mean, that's not exactly news, right?
Right. It's often very abstract, which can make it feel, well, boring or disconnected from the real world for a lot of students.
And that can lead to negative attitudes, unfortunately. Plus, we've seen reports like from the OECD and others about declining math performance in some areas. It's a persistent challenge.
And that's where these educational robots come in as a potentially really interesting solution.
Okay, so when we say educational robots, what are we really talking about? Not just remote-controlled cars, I assume?
Definitely not. These are quite sophisticated instructional tools. They have some unique features. They can be adaptable. They can automate certain things. They're reproducible, meaning they do the same thing consistently. And they can interact in a surprisingly natural, almost human-like way sometimes.
Huh. So adaptable, automated, interactive. They're really designed to make learning more hands-on, more engaging.
Exactly. The core idea is to make those abstract math concepts tangible, so that you can see and touch and, well, manipulate.
Okay, I'm trying to picture this. Like, imagine a little programmable buddy that helps you actually see an equation, maybe move along a number line or something.
Precisely. Instead of just symbols on a page, you could program a robot to say, move forward a certain number of steps, turn, move again,
Mm.
physically demonstrating geometric transformations or coordinate plotting.
Or, like you mentioned, proportional reasoning. Maybe programming robots with different wheel sizes to see how far they travel.
Yes, that's a perfect example from the research. It really bridges that gap between the abstract formula and a concrete, observable result. It helps things click.
It turns a theoretical problem into something real, like how do I get this robot from point A to point B using this specific angle?
Exactly. It makes the math feel relevant and, frankly, more fun.
So, where is this happening? Is this a global thing or concentrated in certain places?
Well, the review showed a definite leader. The United States accounts for almost 30% of the published research in this area. Yeah. So a lot of activity there.
Interesting. Anyone else prominent?
Spain and Turkey are also quite active, both contributing nearly 10% of the studies analyzed. So it's definitely gaining traction internationally, but the U.S. is sort of leading the pack in terms of research output.
And what kind of robots are we seeing most often in these studies? Is there a star player?
There absolutely is.
Yeah.
Lego Mindstorms, it popped up in, get this, almost 44% of the studies.
Wow, Lego. That makes sense, actually. Kids love Lego. It's versatile.
Exactly. It hits that sweet spot of being educational, but also genuinely playful and familiar. Students are often already motivated to use it.
So Lego isn't just for building X-Wings anymore. It's a math tool.
It really is. Now, there are others too, of course. The review mentioned NAO robots. Those are more humanoid. Very interactive, but also quite a bit more expensive.
Right.
And things like Bluebot, which is simpler, are often used with younger kids for basic programming concepts. But Lego is definitely the most common platform seen in the math education research so far.
Okay. And how are teachers actually using these robots in the classroom? Is it mostly just watching the robot do something?
Actually, no. The most common way, found in almost 60% of the studies, is students learning by programming the robots.
Ah, so the students are the ones coding, telling the robot what to do.
Exactly. They're actively involved in the logic and the problem solving. Then, about 22% of studies involve learning by building AD programming, so adding that construction element.
Which probably deepens the engagement even more, I'd imagine.
Seems likely. And the third category, around 19%, was learning by interacting with robots. This might involve, say, giving voice commands or using simpler interfaces, maybe for younger students or different learning goals.
So programming is key. What kind of math are they learning through programming these robots? Is it just basic arithmetic?
Oh, much broader than that. The review showed applications in applied math, general foundational math concepts, analytic geometry, regular geometry, even some aspects of analysis.
So pretty much across the board. That Lego versatility again, I guess.
Yeah, Lego robots were noted as being used across 4 different math content areas, which is impressive. They're adaptable tools.
But you mentioned analysis. Is there a gap there? What about like calculus derivatives, integrals, that kind of stuff?
That's a really sharp observation, and yes, the review pointed that out. While robots are tackling geometry and applied math, there's significantly less research focused on those more advanced analysis concepts.
So that's like a whole frontier waiting to be explored, using robots to maybe visualize the slope of a curve or the area underneath it.
Precisely. It's a major area for future work, especially as we think about supporting higher-level STEM learning.
Okay, let's shift gears slightly. What's going on in the students' heads? What learning theories underpin why this robot stuff works?
Good question. The most dominant theory mentioned in the papers, I think it was cited in 12 of them, is constructivism.
Constructivism. Okay, sounds important.
Like,
What's the gist?
The core idea is that people learn best by actively constructing their own understanding. It's not about passively absorbing facts. It's about doing things, experiencing things, and building your own mental models based on that.
So with the robot, you're not just told a rule. You, like, program the robot, see what happens. Maybe it doesn't work, you adjust.
Yeah.
And through that doing, you build your understanding.
Exactly. Think of it like building your own mental Lego castle of knowledge, brick by brick, based on your actions and reflections, not just looking at the instructions.
I like that analogy. And there was another related one, constructionism.
Right, constructionism. Similar idea, mentioned in about 8 papers, but it puts a special emphasis on learning through creating tangible products or artifacts.
So building the robot itself or programming it to create something specific, like drawing a shape.
Yes. The act of making something externalizes the learning and often makes it more meaningful and memorable for the student.
Okay, and how are researchers figuring all this out? What methods are they using to study this?
The review found that qualitative methods were the most popular, used in nearly 44% of the studies.
Qualitative. So that's things like interviews, watching students interact with the robots, taking detailed notes, getting the story behind the numbers.
Precisely. It allows researchers to dig deep into the why and how of the learning process. You get richer insights into student thinking, frustrations, aha moments, that kind of thing.
Which makes sense when you're exploring something relatively new like this.
Absolutely. Now, they also saw a good number of quantitative studies looking at test scores, measuring engagement levels numerically, and quite a few mixed methods studies, which combine both qualitative and quantitative approaches.
Trying to get the best of both worlds.
Right. Get the numbers and the narrative.
And who's actually doing the learning in these studies? Are we talking high schoolers, college students?
Mostly younger students, actually. The majority of participants were in primary and elementary school.
That makes intuitive sense. Introduce engaging tools early on.
It does. There were studies involving older students, junior high, high school, even some higher education. But the main focus in the research so far has definitely been on the younger age groups.
Any idea why? Just easier to implement there, or?
Could be practical reasons. Also, perhaps the belief that building foundational understanding and positive attitudes towards math early is crucial. It's also worth noting many studies were quite short, often less than 3 months.
Okay. So maybe we need more long-term studies too.
That's definitely an area for future research, understanding the sustained impact over time.
Okay, we've covered a lot of ground. The types of robots, how they're used, the learning theories. Let's zoom out. We need a way to sort of evaluate the whole picture. You mentioned using a SWOT analysis.
Yeah, SWOT strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats. It's a really useful framework to get a balanced view.
Okay, let's do it. What are the big strengths that came out of the review? The real A-plus features of using robots in math class.
The number one strength, overwhelmingly, is fostering a deeper understanding of math concepts.
Deeper understanding. How so?
Because it's hands-on. Building, programming, seeing the direct results of their commands, it helps students really internalize abstract ideas, moving beyond just memorizing formulas. That proportional reasoning example with the wheels is perfect. You see the relationship.
That physical embodiment again makes total sense. What else?
Well, they also stimulate interest and foster more positive beliefs about math. They can be great for supporting students with certain disabilities because you can personalize the interaction and feedback, and they just make difficult concepts more accessible.
Okay, definite pluses there. Now, the flip side, I was saying, the weaknesses. What are the downsides or challenges?
The big ones are pretty practical. First, cost and infrastructure. These robots aren't always cheap, though prices are coming down, and they need reliable internet, power, space to operate, maintenance.
Yeah, the logistical hurdles, especially in schools with tight budgets or limited space.
Right. Class size can be an issue too. Managing a bunch of robots in a large class takes skill. And importantly, the robots themselves have limited capabilities. They only do what they're programmed to do. They don't learn or adapt on their own like a human tutor might.
Good point. They're tools, not magic wands. You mentioned costs coming down, though.
Yes, that's important context. Things like open source hardware like Arduino and more affordable platforms are making robotics more accessible than they used to be.
Mm.
So that weakness might be lessening over time.
Okay, let's look forward then. What about opportunities? Where's the untapped potential?
The biggest opportunity, according to the review, is the potential to connect math to real-life experiences.
Oh, making math relevant.
Exactly. It transforms math from this, purely academic subject into something you can see and use in the world. Programming a robot to navigate a maze uses geometry. Calculating its speed involves rates and ratios. Yeah. It makes the why bother question much easier to answer.
That feels huge. Any other opportunities?
Definitely. Enhanced interactivity, fostering collaboration as students often work in teams, promoting multidisciplinary learning, especially connecting with science, technology, engineering, STEM, and the potential for truly personalized learning paths.
Okay, sounds promising. But we also need to consider the threats. What are the potential roadblocks or things we need to watch out for?
The number one threat highlighted was teacher preparedness.
Meaning teachers might not know how to use the robots effectively.
Exactly. They might not be familiar with the tech itself, or more importantly, they might not know how to integrate it pedagogically, how to actually teach math effectively with the robot. Just putting a robot in a classroom doesn't guarantee better learning.
So training is crucial. Is there a term for the kind of knowledge teachers need?
Yes, and it's a key concept. PPAC, technological, pedagogical, and content knowledge.
Okay, TPIC cup. Let's break that down simply.
It means teachers need three kinds of knowledge woven together. Technology, how to use the robot, pedagogy, how to teach effectively, and content knowledge, understanding the math itself. TPAC is knowing how to blend all three seamlessly for effective lessons.
Got it. It's not just knowing how to turn the robot on, it's knowing how and why to use it for a specific math lesson, like a superpower for tech-savvy teachers.
That's a great way to put it. Without that TPAC, the potential of the robots might not be realized. Another related threat is making sure the robot activities align well with the actual curriculum standards.
Okay, TPAC is key. Now, were there any areas the review found were just not really studied much,
Well,
gaps in the research?
Yes, a couple of important ones stood out. Cognitive load and student satisfaction.
Cognitive load, that sounds like how much mental effort something takes.
Exactly. It's about the amount of working memory needed to process information. We need to understand, are these robot activities helping students focus on the math, or are they sometimes maybe too complex, overloading their mental bandwidth with the tech itself?
Right. You don't want the tool to get in the way of the learning, like your brain's RAM freezing up because too many apps are open.
Precisely. And student satisfaction is also crucial. Are students actually enjoying these experiences? Do they feel motivated? Understanding these factors helps us design better robot-based learning activities.
So making sure the robots aren't just effective, but also not overwhelming and actually enjoyable for the students seems vital.
Absolutely. These gaps highlight important directions for future research to make sure we're optimizing these tools correctly.
Okay, so let's try to wrap this all up. What are the main takeaways from this deep dive into robots and math?
Well, I think it's clear that educational robots are definitely more than just a gimmick. They're proving to be powerful tools, especially for enhancing student engagement and building a deeper, more tangible understanding of mathematical concepts.
Particularly when students are actively programming or building them, right? That seemed key.
Yes, the active construction part seems really important. And while LEGO Mindstorms is currently the dominant player, there's a huge opportunity to explore how robots could tackle more advanced math, like calculus concepts.
And the big caveat, or maybe the big requirement, is teacher training, that TPAC concept.
Absolutely crucial. Investing in teachers, giving them the skills and confidence to integrate these tools effectively is paramount. Without that, the potential won't be fully realized.
And we still need to learn more about the finer points, like managing cognitive load and really ensuring student satisfaction.
Definitely. Lots of exciting work still to be done.
So, looking ahead, as these robots get smarter, more sophisticated, what do you think? Could we see a future where learning is so personalized that every single student gets a math journey perfectly tailored to them?
It's fascinating to think about, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Imagine a robot that could sense when you're struggling, maybe offer a different explanation or sense when you've got it, and immediately offer the next level of challenge, adapting in real time.
Yeah, adapting not just to your pace, but maybe even your learning style, your aha moments. It really makes you wonder how that could fundamentally change both teaching and learning down the line. Something for all of us, students, educators, parents, to really think about.
A truly personalized math tutor for everyone. The potential is certainly there,